Okay, well, welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls. I'm your host. And listen, I just had a technical glitch. We were actually live, and nobody knew it. So welcome back. If Andrew Street joins us, appreciate you coming back, bro. But I've got I have an amazing guest on today. His name is Chris Martinez. I want to welcome Chris to the show. Welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ken. I really appreciate you actually letting me come on this show. The amount of people that you've had on this show that are some big names, and it's going to be some big shoes to fill. I promise. When I see what you have done, I hope I can bring enough value to everyone that they get a little something out of this.
I'm positive that they will, man. I'm positive. So let's talk a little bit about, as we were starting to discuss prior to me screwing it up, let's talk about the where you were born and where you were raised and how it all started for you.
So I'm from El Paso, Texas, and El Paso, Texas is, it's real far west Texas, right? Like right on the little corner, right?
Yeah.
And I lived there till I was about 18 years old, and then I had to leave and go to Las Vegas with my aunt because I was not doing the best things in El Paso, and it wasn't really. I kind of fell back in my high school years, and I was so far behind that I said, I need to make a change. I went out there with my aunt. She let me live with my aunt and my uncle, and as a result, I was able to finish school on time. But it wasn't. I mean, the experience was kind of cool, but with my family and stuff. But as far as doing the work, I didn't really like it. I mean, to come into school at 6:30 in the morning and leave at 7 at night, 5 days a week, who wants to be in school that long, right? But because I was so far behind in school, I literally had to do a lot of work to catch up.
So so your parents stayed in El Paso?
My mom stayed behind. My dad, he passed away when I was probably 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
I never knew him. He, left, when I was a baby or whatever. And, as a result, with a single mom, grew up with a single mom the whole time.
Wow.
So you can imagine, you're on the streets quite often.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I've been there, so I can definitely imagine. In fact, I didn't even graduate from high school, so my senior year they told me I needed a biology credit that I didn't get, and I was like, for what? Like how's that going to apply to real life? Like I don't need that. Let's just. I started negotiating like. How do we make this happen where I walk across the stage and you hand me that piece of paper that everybody's living for here? And they said that's not happening. And I'm like, well, I'm out of here. Good luck. I got money to make. I'm out. So
it's funny. I literally was trying to do that at one point just to walk away. But the judge wouldn't let me. He was like, no, you got to finish.
Oh, wow. Well, that's different. Yeah, they threatened to call the police on me or something. I'm like, you want their number? Like, just dial them up. Let's roll. But anyway, so you ended up moving out to Las Vegas and went to school out there.
Yeah, finished high school.
Okay.
Went back home to El Paso for whatever reason and went back to the same bad habits, same people that I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
And then just saw myself just going down a path that I really wasn't proud of, and ended up deciding to move back to Las Vegas. And I initially was going to go work with my uncle in construction. And my brother, the first day I got back, said, hey, why don't you go see this place? They've been trying to recruit me. It's called CarMax. They're opening up a new store here. You should go check it out. And I said, okay, listen, I'm going to go check it out before I go do some hard work, right? Because, if anything about me, I don't mind working, but I'm going to try to find the easiest way to do it. You know what I mean? So
right. The path of least resistance.
So I ended up going, and I said, hey, you guys been trying to call my brother, and I'm the second best option. So,
and it's your twin brother.
Yeah, my twin brother, and he's in the car business as well. So he's been doing real well. Later down the road, after about 6 years or 4 years at CarMax, I ended up recruiting him to work at CarMax, and he ended up doing real well. Did a lot of good things there. I left, ended up going to Toyota dealership, and that's where I met my partner, one of my partners now, Jim DeMail, one of my mentors, somebody that that's helped me grow as a manager, as a leader, and has done a lot of great things for myself and my growth. And we ended up designing or founding a company that deals with helping retention and sales and service for dealers.
Nice.
Because we found a niche there, right? There's not a lot of places that are doing it, and it's kind of been history ever since then. And today, today's my first day. I actually left the company yesterday, right? Today is my first day going into my full new venture in the startup world and trying to see what I can do to help facilitate the upward movement with that software. So,
dude, that's incredible. Yeah, I was gonna announce that's crazy. You and you were you a GM or a GSM or and
GSM. So
okay, what's the difference?
So there's a difference. A GM, which was my partner, Jim DeMail. He's actually the vice president of the organization. He does a lot of great things, manages the operations. I manage the sales operations, and I also help in ways to generate some business for our service department as well. So when we got there, we were doing about 150 cars a month, and our best month we did 1,053. And
that's insane.
It's in 7 years, doing that kind of growth and just the amount of building you have to do to get to that level, and then more importantly to do it on 9 acres, a footprint of 9 acres. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
That is unbelievable. 9 acres. That's not very big, is it?
No, not at all.
No. For a car dealership.
In our used car department, we probably got about 9 customer parking spaces.
Oh my God.
Our new car department, we probably got 20. I mean, it's incredible.
Dude, you were doing 1,000 cars a month on 9 acres.
It's crazy. In our service department, we probably have maybe another 15, 20, maybe 15 customer parking spaces. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So you got to have that turn, right? You got to be just pushing it through,
So what do you think is, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit. I'm not going to jump ahead yet. I do want to ask you at some point, we'll get to this, what separated you and your dealership from everybody else? I mean, there's dealers out there with hundreds of acres not doing 1,000 cars a month, right? So there is a separating factor, but let's get to that. Don't let me forget to address that, because I do want to. But let's back up for a minute and talk about growing up, the way, and it sounds like you ended up in Las Vegas in high school. How old were you when you went out there?
I was 18.
Oh, you were 18.
Initially, I was there. This is the second time that I was in Vegas. So the first time I went when I was 13.
Okay.
So when I was 13 years old, financially, my mother couldn't, she wasn't able to take care of us. So we had to move to Las Vegas with my aunt.
Right.
When I was 13. And so for about a year, I was up there with her. And then, after about a year, my mother felt like she could do it, she had some little bit work done, and decided we could move back, and we finally moved back. And then we kind of went from there. And then at 18, I said, you know what, I just finished getting I don't want to say a bad word, but I ended up getting into an accident where I ended up just being in the hospital for a little bit, and and ended up saying, hey, you know what? Hey, I need to do something.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
that's kind of right after that, soon after that, I made the decision like, hey, I need to go to Las Vegas with my aunt again and see if she can help me get finish at least the high school, right?
Yeah.
I never went to college. I went to college for like 3 weeks and went back to the same old habits, and unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I can relate. I didn't go to college ever. I went to Ohio State University, which is the largest university in the country as far as student population, 58,000, I think, enrolled students on average or something like that. But I would just go down there to party. That was it. I didn't know anything about anything. So let's talk about the because this is literally people go through shit in pardon my language, people go through crap in childhood, and sometimes they get stuck, they stay stuck, and I would ask you, like, what are some of the what do you feel like some of the biggest influences are from your childhood that have kind of molded who you've become as an adult?
It's funny because I reflect back now because, back in the day, there'd be times that you just wouldn't have, running water because, the bill forgot to get paid or you got evicted and you had to move on and you had to do, you had to go to wait in line at a church to get food. You had to do a couple years of not having a jacket, and now I've got, like 70 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
You go through these things, but I think part of it, I know what it looks like now, and I just don't ever want to go back to that, and that's what kind of drives me. But more importantly now, when I look at, my biggest driver has been, my wife, my kids, the idea that, they depend on me, to get to, make sure that we're in a good state. And I don't ever want them to go through the things that I went through, you know, and I hope that I can give them that guidance and that, leadership in the family that I felt like I may have been lacking, or just was too stupid or too dumb to really understand what was in front of me, right? Like maybe took some things for granted that I shouldn't have, and certain opportunities that may have been presented in a way that I just didn't see it, so and I look back at that a lot, I think, well, how can I fix that so that it doesn't happen in the future,
Right. Yeah, I get it. So the I wrote a book called Walls of Wisdom: Turning Pain into Profit, and it's literally about the stuff you're talking about, taking that pain, because one of my favorite quotes is, pain is the predecessor of all wisdom. And when you go through that stuff, because we lacked as a child, we did like I remember all the cool rich kids, we called them, would be wearing these, I'm 50 years old, so I'm a little older than you, but Levi's were like, and Jordache jeans back in the 80s were like, that was what you wanted, right? No, I wore Wranglers, I was like, my mom's like, if you want, real name brand jeans, you're going to have to get them on your own. So at 8 years old, I started hustling, man. I started, mowing yards, doing whatever, like trying to just, earn some money. So
I'm right there with you.
Right. I know that. I know. You didn't even have to say it. I already knew. Like, like, if I would have had to guess, I'd say he started hustling when he was young.
Oh, yeah. Had to.
Yeah. Did you have a lemonade stand?
Not a lemonade stand, but everybody that I came across and said, hey, you want me to cut your yard or whatever it was, it's the manual labor. My brother and I, we could work hard. So they always got a 2-for-1 because it was my brother and I always together. So they got cheap labor.
Yeah, right. Right. So, my wife's on here. She said nothing wrong with Wrangler. Right. Anyway, not when you're a kid in the '80s, like trying to be cool. But so fast forward to you went to this interview at CarMax and they hired you. And let's talk about that, because you hadn't been in sales at this point, had you?
Uh, to a certain, well, no, not really. It was always just customer service. Prior to that, I did worked at a call center. I was like a supervisor, and
Yeah.
that's being bilingual. It helps in areas like that. Where
You speak Chinese? I'm just
I speak Spanish.
I know,
Right?
I'm just playing. So here you're starting out your new did they hire you as sales? Is that what you started as?
Yeah, they initially were trying to get me to be one of their buyers, but I said, I think I'd probably do better as a sales person. So
Nice.
They said, all right, let's do it. And I said, come on, let's see what it's like. And then they flew me to Sacramento for 4 months or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they didn't have a store there, so they had to teach me their whole process and stuff. So when I started there, they had 30 stores. When I left, there was 104. So
oh my gosh!
The amount of growth that I witnessed and was a part of, and going to different stores to help them build and do all of that, it was pretty neat. Great experience.
That company must have had some huge investors.
Huge. I even hear the story when Circuit City founded them. The CEO basically went to the CEO or the guy who founded CarMax with, I think his guy's name was Rick Sharp, then the CEO or the board of directors of Circuit City.
Yeah.
And the story was that he went up to him and said, hey, I need $400 million to start a company. And they saw his vision and they went with it. So
wow.
It took them about 7 years or so to be, they were in the red for a long time before they went into the black. So it took them some time.
They're huge. They have a humongous location here in Columbus. Huge.
Well, the amount of growth that organization has done, a really successful team. They know how to build the machine. And, the good thing is I was able to learn a lot from what they did, and some of the things that I've done and did some as a result of the training that I had. They did a good job training me, and I was able to apply some of the methods and maybe mold them to our own methods at where we're at, and then with the compliments of all the other places I've been to, I was able to kind of work with the team, and we did a great job.
So you that's where you cut your teeth, so to speak, in selling. Although going door to door selling lawn mowing services is selling, just for the record.
It's just a little different, right?
It's a little different, right? So, hey, do you want me to cut your yard? Nope. Okay. Now I'd be like, what do you mean no? Like I'd be on it. So when you first started, did you start do you just exploded out of the gates I'm curious about how your sales career went up and down, or did it go up and down? Did it just take off like a rocket?
Well, the first couple, say 6 months, I was selling pretty well. I did pretty good. It was within about 6-7 months, they asked, they started looking at me to be one of their sales managers because they knew the amount of growth they were looking to do. They knew they needed a lot of good people, and so they started, from early trying to build the management team that's going to help, get deployed to all the stores that they were going to be opening, and so they needed people. So.
Wow.
I would say it took about a year before I was promoted to a sales manager, and then I was there for about 6 years. My GM at the time helped me do the whole general manager and training. He gave me those IDPs or development plans that they would identify and say, hey, this is what you need to do to get to that next level.
Wow.
And then once, I just kept hearing about the dealerships in San Antonio. Universal Toyota is where I ended up going. That how much these salespeople were making selling cars, and even just the managers from that end, how much they were making, and you just had to make that leap, right? So it's like one day the next, and I said, you know what, it came to a point where I said, you know what, this is where I need to go, and I ended up going to Universal Toyota.
And that was in San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up in Vegas. Was a manager. They needed managers in San Antonio.
Okay.
They relocated me to San Antonio. I worked there for it was a total of 6-7 years at CarMax, and then from there I went to Universal Toyota and sold a lot of cars there.
Yeah.
When I realized, it was a little different type of selling, right? It wasn't, no haggle. There was some room for negotiation, not much, but you had to really sell the value because, if you're selling a Toyota, they kind of sell themselves, right?
Yeah, right.
Reliable, dependable, all that. But when I was used to a bunch of different models, you go to a used car lot and every model's there.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, you're coming for a mid-sized car. Well, that's the only mid-sized car you have is a Camry.
Right. Right.
You got to build some value and say, hey, let me show you why you need to buy this vehicle.
Right. And because
And
CarMax carries everything, right? They carry.
Every make and model used car. So they do a good job sourcing it, and just their brand, their awareness. They've done a great job.
Right.
And then so kind of that's, I went there for about 10 months, sold well. I averaged, 25, 30 cars a month.
Okay.
And
on your own?
On my own, yeah. And I ended up, the GM was my partner now, but he ended up wanting to open up a little used car lot, which were probably the toughest 6 months in my career, right?
Yeah.
So I had to go to basically what was a buy here, pay here lot, but not really, because we didn't do buy here, pay here. We had like one or two lenders, and they give you like 40 cars and say, hey, sell a bunch of cars there. No advertising, really.
Wow.
And you really and then here you got a couple salespeople, and hey, make this work.
Yeah.
And we were doing about 30, 40 cars a month, and I just was like, man, this is too tough. I just can't do this. I said, I like the opportunity. I think it was great that you guys considered me to manage this thing. But I tapped out, and I said, I'm out. I said, I'm going to go back to selling cars, because I was making more.
Yeah, right,
more money,
right.
Working less hours, right? But
yeah.
I said, well, if I can do the same hours and just do it there, I wonder how much I could make. And then I literally was selling 30 cars a month, just walked back on the floor and, made a ton of money. So
at the same, you went back to the same dealership?
Yeah, the Toyota dealership.
Wow.
So it was pretty amazing. They have a great organization out there. I learned a lot with that team,
and that was that was in San Antonio.
Yeah, that was in San Antonio.
Okay.
And then a little bit later on, the GM said, hey, I became a buying partner at Charles Mont Toyota in Austin. And I said, Austin, they have another Toyota dealership? I never even heard of it, right? Because I knew there was 2 other dealerships.
Yeah.
And which was amazing. You'd have thought by now I'd have heard about it.
Right.
Toyota 2.5 years, I should have heard about it, right? But I didn't. I was like, man, that's amazing, right?
Wow.
And he pulled me aside and said, hey, I want you to come with me. And keep in mind, I had just made the most money I had ever made in the car business in 1 month.
Wow.
I sold 35 and a half cars. And I was like, man, this is it. I'm going to be one of those guys that sells 100 cars a month. I already had a plan. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to do this. And then he tells me this, and I'm like, oh,
wow. You're like, what's it pay?
Well, that's even the best part. He says, "Well, I can't pay you what you're making right now,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you, and after about a year or two, it'll pay off."
Yeah.
I'm like, so you get hit with that, and you're like, "Damn." Okay.
Were you married at the time?
I had just bought a house for my wife.
Oh dear God! In San Antonio?
Yeah. And my wife was like, she loved that house. So I feel so bad. She was like, I love my house, and I felt so bad. But I said, look, it's gonna pay off, and
Yeah.
I'll commute for 4 or 5 months. And I mean, I thought I was gonna die a couple of times driving back and forth.
Oh man.
From Austin and San Antonio because
Is it a long? I don't even know. What's the distance?
It's not that long, but when you're stuck in traffic for an hour, I mean,
yeah,
it's probably with traffic 2 hours one way.
And you're driving back and forth every day?
Every day.
Oh dear Lord, man, that's
and
4 hours in the car.
Yeah, not only that is I had to work 10, 12 hours that day.
Oh my God.
So I did that for like 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
and I
wow.
convinced my wife, hey, let's move to Austin.
Yeah.
And luckily I was able to convince her because I kept showing her the opportunity. And
yeah.
She said, all right, let's do it. And
wow.
It was great. I mean, the first month we literally increased their business. I mean, and it's just paying attention to what you have, right? I mean, it wasn't adding a lot of marketing spend right out the gate. It was, hey, let's see what we have and put some people where they need to be, and it kind of just went from there and slowly grew it.
And what does a CarMax do a month? How many cars do they move?
It depends. They have a lot of big stores. I mean, they've got some stores that sell 2,500 cars a month. I think there's one I think it's Norcross that sells a ton. That's their biggest one. But they got in Houston alone, they probably got 4 or 5 stores that sell 1,000 each.
Wow.
And Dallas, same kind of deal. I mean, they got some big stores. I mean, nationally, they got some strong stores.
Wow. So, but you took, I would say you were able to take some of what you learned at CarMax and apply it to you said it's Charles Mond, is that right?
Yes.
So I would assume you were able to apply some of that knowledge and
some of it, from the people development and how the leadership and talking to people and the dealerships. It's amazing that there's a lot of dealerships that still try to MF you and just, I mean, it's crazy how they browbeat some of their employees, right?
That is.
To a certain degree, you still see that in a lot of places, and I've never believed in leading that way or treating people in any wrong way. I try to treat people right and, just be like you wouldn't want anyone else to treat you.
Right.
Just be good to people.
I think Lisa Copeland's going to change that in the car business.
She's been doing a great job. She's amazing. I mean, her energy. Every time I see her, she's doing good things.
She's incredible. So again, I think people need to understand that success is it's a journey. Like, it's not like there's and it takes hard, dedicated work, man. Right? Like like driving 4 or 5 hours a day in a car to work 10 or 12 hours a day. That doesn't leave much time left for family time or sleep time or anything else, right?
No, not at all. You gotta put in some work.
Yeah. And so see, somebody just put something on the table next to you. But so you did all this, and you really took. You said you took Charles Mond, your team took it from 150 cars a month to over 1,000. Was your bet 1,000 what?
1,053 was our best month.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it was a pretty big month.
And that was in Austin?
In Austin, Texas, yeah.
Out of a Toyota dealership.
Yeah, last year we sold 10,400.
Oh my gosh.
And the year before was even bigger. We almost hit 11,000 cars for the year.
Wow.
That was a big year. 16, and then 17, it kind of, more people jumping in the market.
Yeah.
It's been,
Wow.
And then we had a whole new Toyota point open up. That kind of,
dude, that's
hurt us a little bit. It took away some of that market share that we had been getting. But it's part of the game. It's what happens. You got to adapt and overcome it.
That's awesome, dude. So here you are. Obviously, if you're doing those kinds of numbers, you're I don't know what a GSM makes per year, but I know some car sales people making crazy money, right? So you're making pretty good money, I would imagine.
I was making a pretty decent amount of money, yes, sir.
Yeah. I won't be like Grant Cardone. He'd ask you what your net worth is.
Yeah,
how much were you making, man? Come on, man. I'll tell you how much I made.
You tell the IRS how much you made. He's strong. I know.
I love Grant. So, and he'll ask anybody, "Come on, man, tell me your net worth. What is it?" he doesn't care. But so you just recently left. You quit
yesterday. This morning I went in for an hour or two, and then I literally walked into the new office, and we got on the call.
That's crazy, man. So you literally just left you quit your job.
I quit my job. I jumped.
You retired.
Actually, no, I told everybody I got my running shoes on, so we'll see how much I'm going to have to run for the next, little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
15 years or so.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But, it's, so now today is the very first day of the very first time of owning your own business.
Yeah.
Dude.
So it's kind of different, right?
Congratulations. That's awesome.
When you look at how much, you make, and then you're like, well, now I got to start from zero, right? And now I got to go up and start, selling, right?
I'm very familiar
everything
with that.
I told my sales staff, about using the phone.
Yeah.
Well, the phone's my friend. I'm gonna be getting on the phone and making a bunch of calls. So
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people be seeing my name pop up on their caller ID pretty soon.
That's awesome, man. That's totally awesome. So what was it that wow, that your phone just vibrated so hard it moved it.
Right?
I watched you move. I'm like, whoa. So what was it that without it sounds like it was a great place for you to work. Sounds like everything was good at Charles Mond. But what was it that made you go, I gotta do my own thing?
I felt like it was coming to a point where, our software was doing a lot more. I felt like, my grandmother just passed away about 30 days ago. You start looking at, where things are at, and I looked at my kids, and they're getting a lot older. And I said, I got to make this. I got to make this move now. I mean, it's never. If I never just commit and just say, hey, let's go all in, it probably will never happen. So I said, let's just do it, And so made that decision, and now here we are. It's we'll see. And I said, look, worst case scenario, here's the best thing of all. I know how to sell cars.
Yeah.
If it all goes to
hell.
Yeah. I'm looking for the word, right? Without crazy, but if it all goes to hell,
yeah.
Hey, I know how to sell cars.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it.
I mean, you could sell cars. You can sell anything, man. It doesn't matter. Sales is sales, and there's people that say that's not true, and I disagree. I've sold a lot of different things, and I've always said I've never sold car. Well, I take that back. I worked at a Jeep dealership in Atlanta for literally 2 days, I think, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm done. This is ridiculous. Y'all are crazy. Like I was just out. Like they didn't even want me doing test drives or something. I'm like, what? So I just left. But you know so tell me what is next for you, man? I mean I know you've got this new, and what's your new company do? What exactly does it do?
So it helps increase your sales and service retention. We developed some technology with some partners that allows certain dealers that don't have a full-blown business development center to help automate certain processes in service to help boost your service appointments. And then for sales, it's that outreach that you can go after customers in your owner base via voicemail marketing, SMS. You can go after Facebook, and then just really just be able to segment your own data and do it relatively quickly. I mean,
so this is only like you're tapping into just their current database of
just their current database. Yeah.
Wow.
And we go after it. You can segment their owner base. There's a bunch of different touch points. I mean, we pretty much, I think, because they can be combined in so many different ways that we've got over 400 or 500 different ways you can segment the data.
Wow.
And then target them on social media. And for dealers that have 30,000 people in their owner base, or even as low as 7,000 people in their owner base. There's really ways to target your clients and generate some business. I mean, for us, it's really easy to sell an extra 40 to 50 cars a month. Smaller dealers, you could do 20 to 30. It just depends on the type of sales you're trying to drive for that month.
Right.
And then for service, it's reoccurring. It's that consistent customer that needs your service or their recall. From a recall standpoint, there's never been an easier way to reach your customers the way we do.
Wow. So, and do you already have? This is day one. Do you have clients on board yet? Do you have anybody on board?
I have a couple.
Do you?
We have a couple. Right?
Good.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna go meet the couple we do have right now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be flying out here this month, going and talking to all the dealers that we have signed up and see what we can do to make sure that they're saying nothing but good things about us. So.
Wow. So, you have some big goals with this?
I have some big goals, big monster goals. Right?
Good.
So I'm going to be increasing my action, right? It's just a lot of action that's going to be taken. And, to get back to what you were talking about, what separates people from the other people, I think it's important that first, I think Grant Cardone said it best. I think he said that first you start doing what's possible, or then you start doing what's necessary, then you start doing what's possible, and then suddenly you're doing the impossible.
Right.
And it's a true statement. You just do what's required, and all of a sudden you're doing it consistency with that discipline.
Yep.
And you'll start seeing results like no one else, because that's the difference, right? Right now you've done as many podcasts that you've done. All of a sudden, I feel like I just turned on your Facebook channel the other day, and all of a sudden you've got 71 of them. It's incredible.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I have a company, a CRM company, a software company that's actually sponsoring the show. We're putting the details together. So, and it blows me away. Like, it just blows me away. So, and again, for you, like, I have a suspicion that you're getting ready to explode in life, man. Explode.
We'll see how it goes, man. I'm pumped up about it. So when I look at the traditional CRMs, they're great. I still use them all the time.
Yeah.
But the way we actually segment it's basically an add-on where they work. It's agnostic. It works parallel with it, and it helps your outreach. So it's definitely something that I'm not sure why no one's really done it. And the beauty of being in a store that I've been in, I've got to see a lot of applications, and I think that most people or they haven't really done it this way because it's not that easy.
Right.
It takes a lot of time and development to actually create something like we've done. So it's exciting times, man.
So you developed this software over the last
3 years?
3 years. Jeez. Wow. Part-time. Right? Like you're trying to run a big old Toyota store and put this all together at the same time. That's crazy.
It works symbiotic, right? So it's as a result of it, I was able to sell more cars. I was able to service more customers. So it was a win-win, right? So it's something that I needed to facilitate my outreach and my retention efforts, and it was all possible because of the team that we used to develop our software. So it's been pretty neat.
Let me ask you this, and again, like here you are, you're going to be this gazillionaire software guy down in Austin. But let me ask you this. You've dealt with, and dude, you might have the youngest looking face on planet Earth for your actual age. Like I thought you were I'm not joking. I thought you were in your like mid-20s, man. And you're like, there's no way you can. I started adding up all these stories. I'm like, how old are you, man?
I'm 38.
Are you? Jeez, dude, that's insane. What in the world are you using? Some kind of face cream? What the heck? So you've dealt with, and I was telling somebody the other day, I'll bet you, I used to be a national sales trainer in the home security industry. I trained 1,700 salespeople in this big Nashville conference for a week, and I've dealt with thousands of salespeople, thousands, hired, trained, fired, thrown shit at them. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like salespeople are a different breed, and not just salespeople, but you've dealt with all kinds of people in life, and those people that you meet along the way, what do you feel like is the number one thing that's holding people back from success or happiness?
I think that they haven't made the decision to. I think that, so like me, when I used to smoke, I used to drink, I used to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it was I've been sober for about 7.5 years now.
Wow.
And I literally just like one day to the next, I said, I'm just never going to do it again.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. And I said never. I mean, maybe, later on down the road, I might want to do it. I don't know. I still say never, but you never want to say never, right? But right now, it's just not me. My focus has been extreme. I've been able to do a lot of things. I've been, during that time, I've also written a couple of books. I've written a book called Driving Sales, What It Takes to Sell 1,000 Cars a Month. Yeah. And then I've written another one, for a 30-car salesperson. How do you actually become a 30-car salesperson? I forget the title now. I haven't really pushed it, right? I haven't pushed any of my books. They're kind of like there, wrote them. I just wanted to do it, and I did it. But it's incredible, right? But I think that you have to decide. And some people overthink it. What do they say? Paralysis, over-analysis leads to paralysis. The more you think about it, you just won't ever do it. And just got to do it. Commit, decide, just do it.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great answer, and I was having this same conversation yesterday with somebody, not on the show either, but like that not making the decision. Oh, it was a post I saw by Hank Norman, and it was about that. It was like, dude, the the biggest thing that stops people is the decision. In 9 days, on August the 10th, I celebrate 16 years sober. So I can totally relate to that, man. And it was the hardest thing I ever did was make the decision. Like, right? Like, that was the most difficult thing ever, was deciding that this isn't the way I want to live anymore, man. So if somebody comes to you and they say, dude, like, I can't pay my bills, my electric's getting shut off tomorrow, I'm getting evicted next week, I had my car repoed, I can't finance a bologna sandwich, I'm screwed, I don't know what to do. What would you say to that person to help them get over it, to get past whatever's holding them back? What's the first thing you're going to say?
Just got to get busy, man. I think that when I look at people, or even I've grown up with a lot of those type of people, right?
Yeah.
And they have these mental roadblocks that don't allow them to move past it. And there's some mental issues there, and to a certain degree, certain people just can't get out of their head.
Right.
But I'm always talking about getting out of your head. You know, I think Tony Robbins said it. He said, if you live in your head, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the hardest part for a lot of people. But if you can break past that, and just start getting busy. You know, Gary Vee, I think he did something called where you go to Craigslist, get some free stuff, and then go and sell it. I mean, there's ways to make money. I mean, if you don't, I mean, just start doing. I mean, there's so many ways to go out there and just do it, that, you know, even from car dealerships, if you can, you know, present yourself well enough, I mean, you can make a ton of money doing it.
Yeah.
Marcus Lemonis from the Prophet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
He said if he lost everything today, he went backwards. He said the first thing he would do is get a job in the car business.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if someone like that, that's, you know, definitely made his mark in the history books on entrepreneurship and business.
Yeah.
Says that, you know, he's onto something.
I mean, and that's the thing, is it could be the car business. It could be, you know, years ago, I told this story yesterday on my show, but I'll tell it again. You know, years ago, I was sitting in a friend's office who's a very successful multimillionaire financial planner, and he was a client of mine, and he says, so how's business? And I said, you know, it's all right. I'm struggling. He's like, why are you struggling, man? You build incredible, you do good work. And I said, well, I don't know, you know, it's the market. I don't even remember what I said, you know. It was everything except for me. Right? And he goes, dude, listen, and I'm sitting there and I'm running my mouth blah, 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 about all my excuses and whining and bitching and complaining. He says, dude, shut up. I said, what? And he goes, listen, man, I can't listen to this. He goes, look, there is a dude right here in Columbus, Ohio, that goes around and picks up people's dog shit out of their yard and makes over $1 million a year. I don't want to hear your excuses.
Right?
I said, oh my God. Like, what? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's called the dog pooper scooper or something. I don't know what it is, but the dude's making $1 million a year. Quit complaining. Go do something. Knock on some doors. Make it happen.
Amen.
I've never forgotten that, dude. Like, there are people making $1 million a year picking up dog poop.
Incredible.
Right?
There's so much opportunity once you start really looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just in a perfect, I mean, it's incredible. Even when 2008, when that went it wasn't, I mean, it was bad, but, you know,
it was a mindset.
I've seen worse, you know, like, you know, when you're standing in line getting expired food, waiting to get expired food. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad, you know what I mean? And people, and then you start looking at other, you know, other countries, and you're like, man, this, you know, we're living in a great time right now. It's incredible.
Dude, when you go to the cupboard and all you have are ramen noodles or some government cheese, but like,
I like the government cheese was not bad.
It actually wasn't.
My mom used to be able to make, that Spam.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah,
I don't know how she
Spam
did it.
and
It always
cheese.
tastes pretty good.
I know, man. So, dude, you're a good guy. I'm so grateful you took the time to, and you picked. Did you know this was going to be the day?
No, I
Come
didn't.
on.
No, it was just by
Wow.
just random. I literally I had the discussion it was about 2 weeks ago before I even scheduled this with you.
Yeah.
And talked to my wife. I said, man, I just got to do it, and then here we are.
What's the name of your company and what's your web address, dude? I'm going to put that up on the screen.
TheAutominer.com.
TheAutominer.com. The Auto, MINER.
Yes, sir. Maybe you
com.
can give me some feedback on ways I can maximize my website too.
Oh, I can help with that, man. I can help with that.
I know you can, man.
I feel bad charging a startup though, but so like, dude, I like you're awesome. I am 100% positive you're gonna be massively successful. And any of my car dealer friends that are on here, or that watch this replay, make sure that you hit up Chris. A lot of people know you, man. Frank Lopes. I love Frank, and I think
awesome.
him and Jim Ziegler are live right now. Maybe that's why we don't have a huge audience. But I really genuinely appreciate you taking the time to come on here. How can everybody follow you?
Facebook. I put I think there's a lot of Chris Martinez's, right? So it's like John Smith.
Yeah.
So right now I'm in Austin, so I have to put Chris J Martinez ATX, right?
Okay.
Or my Facebook page is Chris J Martinez. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably the better way to do it. But you can definitely find me on all those channels as Chris J Martinez ATX.
Dude, so. Frank Lopes just joined us. He just jumped in
awesome.
Here.
Man, I love Frank. He does a great job.
Oh, Frank's one of my favorite people on the planet. Like he called me a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking, and I'm like, so was there like a reason you called me? He's like, you're my friend. That's what friends do. Is there a problem with that? I won't say everything else he said. I love Frank, man. He's as real as they come. I love that dude.
He's awesome, man. He really is a genuine person. I like him a lot.
He is, man. He's amazing. So again, anybody in the car business, hit up Chris, and check out his new software. So I wish you the best of luck. If there's anything I can do to help you in any way, just let me know.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the opportunity you gave me to use this platform to announce what just happened today.
Yeah.
And if anything I can do for you in return, please just let me know. I'm here.
Appreciate you, man. And everybody, make sure you go follow Chris Martinez. I'm friends with him on Facebook, so if we're friends, make sure that you're picking the right Chris Martinez. So, Chris, thanks so much. Everybody, thank you for the shares and the love and the likes and everything else. Go follow Chris. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thank you.